This customer was getting a horrible smell from their laundry closet, and the reason for that was there's no trap on the system, as you can see, allowing sewer gases to come up and create that horrible smell. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I fixed that and the reasons why I did a few things that I did here that may be a little bit different than what you would typically see. To start, I just am tearing everything out that they have here, and you'll see a lot of questionable stuff at this house. And at the end of the day, I'm here for one thing and one thing only, and that is to get rid of the sewer smell. Now, of course, I let the people know who need to know about the situation's going on here as far as the damage, and so it's in their hands. Now, a quick moment of silence for our fallen soldier there. Rest in peace, buddy. So I'm installing an OD Quattro box here. Extremely convenient because of how versatile this box is. And yeah, I did cold on the left. I'll get back to that later. Now for this drain also, it is not vented. This laundry drain takes about 20 feet to actually tie into the main sewer. So if I don't vent this system, this trap is going to get siphoned out, and this work I'm doing would be basically pointless because they would still end up with a sewer smell. So I'm going to use a sanitary tee here to tee off and install an air admittance valve so that this system is vented and will drain properly and fix the issue. And this stud is at like a 25-degree angle, so it made it a little tough getting it straight as I could there. But you got to work with what you got, you know. I know in a lot of places you can't use an air admittance valve. Thankfully, where I'm at, I can. Otherwise, we would be going out through the roof. And as you could guess, some people don't want to pay for it, or maybe they just can't pay for it. So luckily for them, we can do it this way. It's pretty cost effective because it's way less labor intensive. Now this next part you'll see here, I'm offsetting it instead of going straight down through that plate. The reason is because this wall sits directly on a beam, which is why I have to offset this and go through the subfloor in between joists, which is not a big deal. This is behind a laundry and dryer. You will never see it. But if you would have done something differently, please let me know. I'm always open to better ways of doing things. Also, you can see I already glued on to that 45 there, a drop down piece. That's to make it easier for me when I go in the crawl space. I just have a pipe I can cut to the proper length instead of trying to glue onto that 45 while I'm in the crawl space. And as you'll see, this crawl space is not a crawl space I want to get in and out of. I want to go in, get done, and leave and never have to go back because it is honestly horrible. Here's where I realized that I put hot on the right instead of on the left. Of course, one of the #1 rules of plumbing that I missed. Okay, now we're underneath. Now you can see the drain right there that you can see is the original drain. There was no trap at all, and they didn't even use a sweep. And no, I'm not going to cut these PEX lines closer to the joist and mount them to it, because pretty much they ran all of the PEX just straight on the ground at this place. So it really makes no difference in me running it like that. You'll see a better angle of it here in just a second. Otherwise, I would have just cut those closer and strapped them to the joist. I also miscalculate a little bit here where I cut off. I thought this was the perfect spot for my 45. I just miscalculated a little bit. And so I will have to actually cut this out and cut it back about 6 inches so that it lines up with this 90. And this is actually when I realized it. So you'll notice as I actually move over to tie this sweep in, I just pull this pipe all the way out because I realized how off I was. And that's when I decided that I would just cut that 45 out and move it back to where it's in line properly. But I have zero footage of that because I actually ended up getting hurt a little bit while I was down here. I mean, these are my working conditions. I was sitting in a old infant bathtub to stay out of all the gray water that was under there. But here is the finished product. I was running water to test for leaks. And quick side note, the air admittance valve is not getting covered up in the wall. They aren't sure what they're doing right now with the wall, so I just left it as it is. It'll either go in a box or just have a cover plate over it. But that's it. Thanks for watching.